Good afternoon and welcome inside another edition of That's What I Think with Brandon Swanson. I'm your fearless host, Brandon Swanson, and sometimes, folks, I come into these shows and Ricky's like, Brandon, what are you going to talk about? And sometimes I'm like, no frickin' idea. This week, thank you. Thank you to President Donald Trump and Bryan Colangelo. You've given me two wonderful stories to talk about. First, Donald Trump. He has disinvited the Philadelphia Eagles, or he did disinvite the Philadelphia Eagles from coming to the White House after they weren't going to send the whole team. They were just going to send, 9 players or a smaller group of players, and he said, forget it then. The fans here at the White House deserve better. That is just childish, in my opinion. That is just childish. But President Trump, you had a real opportunity here. Instead of pushing away these players and saying, because not all of them are going to come, you could have brought them, even the ones who wanted to come, and talk with them. Talk with them about how you understand that they are doing good in the community. They're doing good in their local communities. And try and help them. Try and help their efforts. That's what they want. That's what so many of these players, NFL, NBA, that's what these guys want. They want other people to help them achieve these goals. They have this national stage, especially in the NFL. And now they need help getting things done. Have a conversation. Sit down and be real with them. Listen to them. Hear them. That's what they want. Listen. Just listen. Instead of talking over them, listen. And there was a great tweet put out today, or I guess retweeted, by Adam Schefter. And it was about the NFL Players Association talking about what many players are doing in their communities. And it's outstanding. And I've got a couple here for you. J.J. Watt, paying for the funerals of the victims in the Santa Fe high school shooting. 13 Eagles players are doing a whole lot to give back to their community. Chris Long, Malcolm Jenkins, those two guys are leading the charge there for the Eagles. And again, what an opportunity missed to bring the Eagles players, even the ones who were, even the 9 that were going to come, or whatever number it was, what a missed opportunity. Nate Boyer from the Seattle Seahawks, an MVP program to help veterans. Devin and Jason McCourty working on criminal justice reform. Gary Barnidge working to help underprivileged countries around the world. And so many others. That's just a handful. They had multiple. I mean, this thread went on for days. These guys are not just football players. They don't just step out onto a field, and we're talking football in this case. They don't just step out onto a field on a Sunday, do their thing, and go home. They don't just sit around in their lavish homes and gated communities just chilling, playing Madden. They don't do that. They're out on the streets. They're talking with the kids. They're talking with the underprivileged people that are living in their communities. They're doing good. Let's not divide that. We can't. We're too divided already. We need to have that conversation. And again, a missed opportunity on this one, President Trump. A very missed opportunity. Sometimes it doesn't all have to be about the photo op. Sometimes it just needs to be about the conversation. That is the most important thing. And now on to a topic that shows maybe you shouldn't share everything with your significant other. Bryan Colangelo is learning that the hard way. So a couple of days ago, there was an investigation started, and it was The Ringer who started this investigation, really a great investigation by them. So props to them for looking into this, of a number of burner accounts that seemed to be connected to Bryan Colangelo, the general manager for the Philadelphia 76ers. And on a number of these accounts, they are bashing players like Joel Embiid and Markelle Fultz and previous administrators there with the team, and talking about things that only privileged people to the situation would know. So not good. It's looking like it's probably Bryan Colangelo having these burner accounts. Well, plot twist at the end, it is indeed Barbara Bottini, his wife. How about it? How about it? Without his knowledge. Now, I find that to be difficult to grasp that that's true. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. She could have gone rogue, but I feel it hard to believe if you're living in the same household that you don't know that she's doing this. I mean, I just find that hard to believe. But again, it could be. It could be. But they find out, this outside law firm that the Sixers brought in. This is how big this thing kind of got. I mean, kind of crazy around the NBA. Some people calling it the Watergate of NBA. That's kind of fun, but not good. So this all happens, and Bryan Colangelo resigns from his position. And he had to. He absolutely had to do this. And it's sad. It's sad that that's what this ends up coming to. But it also goes to show that you should not be sharing this type of information necessarily with your significant other at this level. I mean, it's one thing to share some aspects of the job, you know, hey, team's not playing really well right now, or, you know, this was tough to have to let this player go, or this or that. Sometimes it goes to show, when you're in a job like this, general manager of an NBA team, a National Basketball Association team, big level, top level, and you're at one of the top levels, maybe you shouldn't be sharing all the crucial details that seem to come out in some of these tweets that Bottini was putting out from these burner accounts, putting out things and information about off-the-court issues with players such as with Embiid that you should not know, that a person who's not close to the situation should know. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of people believe the 76ers to be moving in a positive direction now. You know, they're going through the process. They've gone through the process. They've tagged themselves the process. Basically, they're no longer called the 76ers. You just point to them and people go, oh yeah, the process. It's unfortunate that Bryan Colangelo is not going to be able to see this through. A two-time NBA Executive of the Year isn't going to be able to see this through, and this is how he has to lose and leave his job. I find it to be really unfortunate, but I find it to be a learning experience, not only for Bryan, but for everyone else throughout the league, is that we have to be, and I shouldn't say we, I guess I could include myself as we, as being part of the media that talks about this. You have to be careful with stuff like this. We look at journalists and sources and all that kind of stuff. This is sensitive information, and I know this isn't national security stuff. We're not talking about the fate of the United States of America, but we could be talking about the fate of a program. And a program that's certainly trending in the right direction. You do not want to be the reason or the demise for that program. The halt as to why it doesn't continue to move forward. And this is an unfortunate situation. A guy who clearly has done a good job throughout his career sees it come to an end because his wife had burner accounts, made burner accounts, again, supposedly without his knowledge. And this is what happens. She puts out information, sends tweets in his favor on some things that, oh, you know, he's doing a great job, or, you know, he shouldn't get this flack or take that flack, but then talks about predecessors, people that came in and took his job in other places when he was let go. That's a no-no. You just don't do that. It's like a president, a sitting president, coming in and talking about what his predecessor did. You just usually don't do that. So Bryan Colangelo had no other decision. He had to resign. There was a conflict of interest there. He had to leave. And I think, again, it's just really unfortunate that we saw this situation happen, because his name has now been dragged through the mud, and whether or not he did it, he was linked to it. And again, whether or not he did it, Philly, they accepted his resignation right away. Whether or not they wanted to let him go, there was no question of that. They had to. And there was no question of whether or not Colangelo needed to resign, or wanted to resign. He needed to. And that's unfortunate that that's how his time in Philly comes to an end. But hopefully, and I'm sure, my colleagues on the Fast Break will talk about who is going to be up next, or they probably already have talked about who's going to be up next in the general manager position and role with the Philadelphia 76ers. So this is going to be interesting because, again, this is a team with some young talent and some good players, and possibly a guy named LeBron James next year, maybe. And they're trending, again, like I said, in the right direction. This is not something that they needed to be a distraction for a team on the rise. And that's what I think this week, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. A lot of fun as always. We will be here next week, same time, same place, but I will not be. I am out next week. There will be someone sitting in, filling the shoes. I'm not going to tell you who, but tune in to see who the guest host is next week. I know you're going to enjoy the person who it will be. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. So long.